The topic that I decided to do my paper on is Shintoism. Shintoism is hard to define because it is not necessarily written down. Unlike other religions that have guidelines, Shinto has none. As a result, there is no clear or unanimous way of teaching it. However, it does have stories, and it is in these stories that it has a background. I'm about to go over a few of the stories that I found most important. First, I will go over the story of Izanami and Aza Nagi, who are said to be the main gods or kami in the creation of the islands of Japan. According to the story, Izanagi took a spear and stirred the earth's oceans and created the first landmass. They then joined in union and had 8 children, which became the islands of Japan. They continued to create kami to represent the natural features of Japan, for example, kami of the mountain, the land, the streams. But it wasn't until Izanami gave birth to the kami of fire that she got badly burned and ended up dying. Izanagi decided to go to the underworld to try to bring back his beloved. She warned him not to look at her and that she would try to make a deal with the gods of the underworld to let her go. Izanagi was impatient and lit a fire to catch a better look of Izanami, and he realized that the light revealed that she was really a rotting corpse. Ashamed of how he had seen her and angry that he did not listen, she sent spirits to chase after Izanagi. He managed to escape, and his marriage with Izanami was over. He went to a river to clean himself from the impurities of the underworld. In a ritual that is still practiced today, purification is achieved by washing the entire body with water. It was in this cleansing that the 3 noble children were born. Amaterasu was the first one born out of his left eye. She is the great divinity illuminating heaven and the most important kami of the Shinto religion. The most famous story is the one about Amaterasu and the cave. It all started when she got into an argument with her brother Susanoo, who was always wreaking havoc on Earth. She became so upset that she locked herself up in a cave, and because of this, the world went dark and into chaos without her light. The other kami decided to try to lure her out by making her think that they were having a good time. They made a joyful commotion just outside of her cave and told her that they had found a kami just as bright as her. To distract her, they placed a mirror just outside the cave so she would be looking at her reflection thinking it was another kami. It worked, and once she stepped out, they blocked the entrance to the cave, and once again the world had light. Her brother, that was born from Izanagi's right eye, was Kiyomi. The moon god represents balance and clarity, and he lived in the celestial plane with his sister Amaterasu, where they ruled together. One day, Amaterasu asked Tsukuyomi to go to a feast being thrown by the food goddess. He went to the feast but was disgusted by how the food was laid out. She spit out the fish and game and coughed up the rice. In his disgust, he killed her, and when Amaterasu found out, she vowed never to want to see him ever again. It is because of this incident that they remain at opposite ends of the sky, and this is the story of how night and day was created. The last of the noble children was Susanoo, born from Izanagi's nostril. He is infamous for his mischievous and sometimes destructive behavior, and was banned from the heavens for upsetting his sister and causing destruction on earth. One day he was walking along a river when he heard crying. Upon further investigation, he came across an elderly couple and their daughter, and was told how their other 7 daughters were killed by a monster. Susanoo made a deal with them and promised to defeat the monster if he could have the daughter's hand in marriage. He ordered them to place 8 cups of sake, an alcoholic beverage, at each entrance of the house. When the serpent arrived, each head drank from a cup of sake and became drunk. In the stupor, he cut off each of the dragon's heads. These are just a few of the stories that can be found in classical writings such as the Kojiki and the Nihon Shoki. The Kojiki, also known as the Records of Ancient Matters, was created to erase falsehoods and establish truth. Although the book was created to push the imperial agenda, it also contains the stories of how the kami were made. Even though the book was written back in the 8th century and the stories are much older than that, we are still getting inspiration for movies, entertainment, and games from these very old stories. Whether they are true or not, the traditions carry on.